Wait, you're not solid look, you're two.
We're recording if you want to call order.
Call order. You're just two.
What's that?
You say? Like, welcome everybody. Our business signature. We had some timber cuts. Two, and then we had a tax maintenance contract. It's standard every year. We updated town of Effingham treasurers delegations of financial functions. So have this on file, all signed by all the proper representatives for the treasurer. It's all the tasks that needs to be done as treasurer for the town. So we need to get the one with the tab.
If they're both things running.
We do address that, right? You address that.
Yeah, it's public.
Yeah, zoning officer, the board of selectmen requests the following properties owned by the last name Gadet and Van Tassel currently in violation, have their violations removed from current enforcement. So both are compliant. And minutes for April 16th, make a motion to suck the minutes of 4/16. All in favor?
Aye.
Do we need to make a motion on this one? Or this one?
No.
That's it for signature.
Did you want to cover the valuation? Just say the valuation, whether it was a mistake.
That's in my next. I think helpful.
No.
Yeah. You want signature?
Good catch. Oh, spoke too soon.
Number 2, manifest. Make a motion to approve the manifests of April 25th, 2024 for the amount of $34,062.21.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Make a motion to approve the manifest dated May 2nd, 2024 for the amount of $39,186.76.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
We already did the minutes, so. Appointments, none. Review and mail.
Jumping in.
It's okay. Confuse me.
I don't know that would be a public yet. I don't know. What do you think?
This one?
Yeah.
Take that on the paper.
Yeah, that's
Favorite public.
Yeah.
Right, so there's a notice of change of date. Basically it's a foreclosure auction on what's the address? 94 Wilkinson Swamp Road, Effingham. It was scheduled for May 23rd. It's now rescheduled to August 21st, 11 o'clock. So we're talking revenue?
No. Department of Revenue Administration, annually they do a total equalized valuation for the town of Effingham. So for 2023, the valuation including utility, road monies and reimbursements, total of $342,658,956. If you subtract out utility valuation and railroad money reimbursement, you have a valuation for the town, equalized valuation for the town of $337,384,563.
Do we know what was 2023?
Mr. Chairman, You know the answer to that question,
2022?
what the equalized valuation was?
Last value I had was 215 million.
That was what I thought it was too. So it's gone up.
So 115 million,
Just,
37 seems,
it's 1/3 higher.
So our assessed value went up considerably. Don't take that back to the school for us, okay?
the tax rate is adjusted appropriately, that'd be fine.
Okay,
What's the date on that?
April 22, 2024.
you want to copy that?
If I can get that, I would appreciate that.
Want me to give you one tomorrow when you come in?
Yeah, that'd be fine, everyone, thank you.
The last item is vegetation control service for New Hampshire Co-op. They're gonna be spraying herbicides on vegetation, whatever. They have a special permit in 22, so they didn't give us a date.
It's a standard letter.
Yeah,
It's backside problems, like it's the only place where we have coal with that.
yeah. That's it for me. Selectmen reports. Who wants to go first?
Go ahead, Chuck. Okay. Carroll County Communications District monthly meeting held on April 17th. One of the things that came out at that meeting is our Fidium fiber wiring project for the town of Effingham, Oxford, Freedom, and Tufton Borough should be starting in the fourth quarter of this year, ending near the end of the first quarter of next year. And they will be adding over 9,000 addresses in that build. Under the historic town hall project, the window company that's restoring the second and third floor windows is actually taking those out today. It ended up being a one-day job. They will be returning to their shop tomorrow. And an interesting footnote, this morning when I was doing the walkthrough with them, on the third floor, we found 3 of the sash window pieces from the 2 windows that are the current entry doors into the building off the parking lot. So if you think about the roof overhangs that are there, those 2 doors were actually in the old days 2 of the big windows, like in the rest of the building. And they actually found 3 of the 4 sashes up on the third floor. So we're actually going to be adding those to that restoration project that they're working on right now. On the 19th, the police chief, fire chief, and the 3 selectmen did a bit of a debrief from the storm with a laundry list of things to follow up on, and there's going to be additional meetings and public meetings, and there's some to-dos, so it's sort of stuff that's already being worked on. I did a takeaway at the last meeting to provide a capability for a 91A request to listen to some dispatch recordings from the snowstorm that has been taken care of. Caitlin, I was looking for the IPS today on the town website. We have a lot of our policies up there. We don't have that on there, the investment policy statement. Can we, when you send that out, can you pop that up on the website?
Of
too?
course.
Bless you, thank you.
We have fluorescent bulbs that were needed for the kitchen out here. I actually found a small pack of them up at the library on the 2nd floor today, so I brought those down, and our maintenance guy that puts in fluorescent bulbs can put those in anytime.
So add that to your time sheet.
And I basically also worked with the Stady Road cleanup day for the Effingham Conservation Commission. It was a great day, and got quite a bit of Snow Road, Concord Hill taken care of, and trimmed about 150 different little trees that were hanging out there. And the Eversource thank you letter, I finally have the contact information from Mary Kate, so I'll be putting that together for the next select board meeting to be able to sign for that. So.
On the Eversource thing, when it was at the, I think it was Wednesday, when at the recycle center, Eversource stopped by and he wanted to take a look at the back portion of the
Yes,
recycle center to use that as for their trucks and all that stuff.
that came up when they were there at the coffee hour at the library on Wednesday. They were doing a discussion and allowed the public to ask any questions they wanted to. One of the things that came out of that is from a storage capability for this area in the event of an emergency, what might be available. And somebody suggested that the fact it was me that suggested it, that with 315 acres down there, we might want to take a look at that and see if anything would be beneficial. They said they would take a look at the site and then get back to us to see if there's something they might want to pursue further with us or not.
He did took a look at it, so
Okay.
he did review it.
Good.
No, sir.
All right, first and foremost, Rykill Road is completed. They put down the base on Tuesday. Wednesday it rained, so the tack coat can't go down, so that's why the top coat didn't go up until Thursday. Shouldered on Friday. I think personally it came out great. There's somebody that lives in town that worked for Pike for many, many years. And they're giving an assessment of it and feel that it was a very professional job, well done. So as far as brush cleanup goes, we, as of 4 o'clock, or approximately 4:30 this afternoon, it was almost nearly complete. It would have been complete, but the truck driver could not make it home because of the road being closed. Because power poles were taken down and utility lines and stuff at the intersection of Green Mountain Road, Champion Hill, and Drake Road by the waste management truck. So we had to turn around and go back, and there was a couple of spots that he didn't get to, but he just said, well, I gotta go back by this, so I just grab up a couple little things there that whatever. And so for the most part, unless I am drastically missing something, a couple little branches here or there and a couple little hangers that we can address at a later date, but I'm happy to say that the cleanup is complete.
Good job.
Yeah, guys, thank you.
So everybody did a fantastic job, everybody that was involved. There was multiple crews, Evans Brothers, Elliott's, and Edwards.
And Mike.
Crew was in South Effingham. Mike Polsky helped us out and did a fantastic job. And Barney logging and land clearing, did trucking with the logging truck. They worked through the weekend and picked up the lion's share of the brush. And a thank you to the individual that lets us dump the brush. So great job by everybody. Considering the amount of debris that was there. To say that we are comfortable to say that we're cleaned up is amazing. And because of the brush being cleaned up, that did delay the scheduling of the sweeping. So now that that is done, I have spoke to Mike DeAndrea, and we're going to be scheduled for next week, or at the latest the following week, for the sweeping of the parking lots in a couple intersections, transfer station, library here. Most of the roads don't need to be swept. I don't know what you gentlemen think about this road. The traffic on most of our roads blows the sand off. But
People go fast enough that it blows.
that's not the case here, so I don't know what you feel about sweeping this road. The fog lines are pretty much covered up, or just let it go, or
I've never done it in the past, I'm aware of.
yeah, I just noticed on the way in, it was, I'm like, well, this. I'll mention it, but if you,
Your call.
well, it's our call.
Yeah, I mean, if he's in there.
He's gonna be here to sweep the parking lot, so we could scoop down the fog line. Okay. The last meeting, JT and I discussed that we were going to be attending the building maintenance subcommittee meeting of the school board,
Yes,
which we did.
you did.
I feel it was a very productive meeting. It was informative for both us and I think the members of the board as well.
Yep.
So that's work in progress. We're gonna be moving forward with that. As I already stated, the sweeping is gonna be getting scheduled. We have a beaver issue ongoing on Townhouse Road. That is being addressed. hopefully it doesn't get bad, but I would like to recognize all the work that Leo's done down there with his tractor and helping and redoing the grate that was in front of the culvert to prevent the beavers from getting inside of the culvert. Spent a lot of time down there with road contractor, staff, and the trapper. So thank you very much for your hard work down there. They are unfortunately creative little buggers. I wish any one of us could have the knowledge that they have on building things. And unfortunately, they are also on Hunter's Bridge Road. So he has visited that site as well. He's gonna be addressing that. And the last thing that I have is the email, I'm assuming you guys both got from resident. I don't know if you guys already talked about that, the fees at the transfer station.
We haven't talked about it, but go ahead.
It needs to come up.
Yeah,
Bring it up.
so there's a discrepancy between what's posted at the transfer station and what's online for our fee schedule.
Caitlin can answer.
So I've done research on it. And so back in April 5th, 2022. There was a public hearing that was set where the only fees that had changed, so the ordinance that's online is correct. It was revised April 2022, the only thing that had changed back in April 2022 was the assembled grills and the metal went from $20 to $10. Unfortunately, how the programming is set, it was programmed for $30
In the cash register.
in the cash register, yeah. So they just hit their button for whichever item it is, and it would pull up 30. So I am planning to go down there and reprogram that to match the ordinance, which says 20. They had it written that, you know, how everything is, they have it as the programming. So I'm gonna reprogram, reset the list to match what the ordinance states.
So probably the email is a picture of the schedule that's in the bulletin board at the transfer station.
Yes,
That-
so what's in the register is what created the issue was what's programmed in the register is the wrong number. So when all the other changes. Change, once she's created that change, the register will be correct, and we will refund the $10 to the gentleman that
Correct.
wrote the email.
And this posting needs to be updated too, correct?
Right, yes.
That's in the bulletin board down there.
Yeah, so I'm creating things for the transfer station and plan to go down to reprogram that register as well.
Okay.
So we'll get everything set.
If you're in agreement, we can back the $10 to the
Yeah,
gentleman.
oh, yeah, and hopefully that doesn't open up Pandora's box for, you know, people to come forward and receive.
Donation.
Yeah.
If they've got a receipt that shows the 30 on it, then.
Yeah,
We can give them money.
Yeah.
99% of people tell the receipt out before they leave.
And I know that I said this is my last thing, but I did want to mention, take advantage of the camera being on. There are some people, believe it or not, and I don't mean to insult anybody. New Hampshire 153 is not the responsibility of the town of Effingham. I keep receiving phone calls and emails and text messages asking when we're gonna start cleaning 153 South and 25. Those are state New Hampshire DOT highways. An update from one of their workers today, just for you folks, in case you're curious, there will be to the town of Effingham tomorrow. There will be at Route 25 or 153 North as far as cleanup. They're coming south tomorrow, and from there they'll proceed, assumably out Route 25 and then down 153 South.
So I did go up to the Holly the other day and north, it's all cleaned up.
Yeah.
That's pretty nice.
That is it. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah, I was gonna touch on the work with Evans, but thank you. The only thing is, the other Beaver Gate at Buff Road. That is the same design,
Size, yeah.
size, hole.
I'm assuming, I don't remember.
Okay, so that one I would have to modify too, because the openings are way too big. That's what plug the other.
I would say, let's take a look at it no matter what.
Okay. You know where the location is?
Yes.
All right, I'll give it to you.
Just before the one,
Oh, right there.
on the curve, long area.
All right.
Do we know where that key is? Chuck says it's in the office.
It's supposed to be in the key box.
Which key is this one?
Padlock key for the beaver deceiver.
I will look.
Well, I'll tell you personally, On townhouse, the padlock was about 2 feet into the water, so I'm not sure how you ever get to the padlock. Yeah, with it flooding.
Well, the
They-
one on Clough Road, I know, is the top of the granite piece, it's on the top of the culvert.
Yeah, this one too, but when it's going over the road, you don't see it.
Right, well, hopefully there's no beavers in there. And then the water won't be that high. So,
All right,
and if it is, I'll just look for the beaver and give him the key and ask him to walk. They're pretty creative, maybe you can undo a law.
got that recorded. All right,
Beaver can't do it, maybe you can find a muskrat.
There you go, right.
Working with the recycle center, I know they're, Mark was stating and Brad that, basically both snow blowers are down, broken, this one and. At the recycle center, and they're about 10 to 15 years old, so I asked Brad to go out for quotes.
There's only one's 5 years old. We bought it just 5 years ago.
Which one?
The one that was out here.
The one that's at the transfer station now.
No, shit, not worried.
It needs to be repaired.
Yeah,
Not replaced.
all right,
So the drive's going in it,
Oh, do we know that for sure?
yes,
Okay.
it's locked right up.
Okay.
we could spend a couple, quite a bit of money on fixing it, or.
And
And
then,
I know this one here, Brad said he doesn't use a snow blower, he just shovels. So really, we don't, he said he probably could take, they're both the same, so he probably could take one, the two of them, make one good one. It's an option.
What's the call?
Good ask that. That's the, that's the pressure one, this is right there,
wait,
this is G. Keep that one.
Yeah. 1,300, that scared me already.
So it's the price for two and the price for one. So the quote is 2312. For
a piece,
What are we buying?
30-inch areas.
right on,
That's what they're on. The one at this one's at John Deere, the other one was at Pine River, what's that? Woodman's. So the same price,
Same brand.
yeah, areas. They're recommending, they want a 30-inch.
can I just,
Yeah, please.
we got a minute before snow, hopefully.
Oh, we
Yeah,
got.
something on this, at this moment.
No, I'm bringing it up.
I was actually just looking at one of these for my son. And it was like $600 less than, but that's what we
If you can find a cheaper quote, I'm open. For 30.
let's do a little homework. I'll take this information and
If you can get additional quotes, please.
do a little homework.
Yes, please. Like I said, it's not gonna snow tomorrow.
And I'm not gonna understand that.
Maybe we'll be lucky enough that the service manager of MB Tractor that sells snow blowers is listening right now, having it resident. And he can sharpen up his pencil for us and
If you got,
we can get a price there, so.
yeah, please. I'm looking forward to it.
Right now, he's cursing at his computer listening, you say that.
We also, they also want a pressure washer. Theirs doesn't work.
When we go there, when it's not working. Okay.
And that one was $5.99, but if you can get a quote for that too, great. Additional quotes.
Do we know what the brand was on this one? Doesn't say on here, it's United Ag and Turf, but doesn't say. What brand?
No, nothing.
Okay. We'll do it. Do some
You
more.
gotta put the pressure washer.
Yeah,
This is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Down.
Yeah.
I'll do some homework on that this week.
Yeah, we'll table it for now, it's not a problem.
Key thing is we need a new pressure washer and we need a new snow blower.
Correct. Last thing in a recycle center, we need to hire a new part-time attendant. With Joe quitting at the end, retiring at the end of this May, Bill's going out for surgery in May. And Brad's issue. So, and Mark wants to take some vacation in May. It's not happening. So,
When we did the kind of the study on that like 4 years ago with. The necessary requirements to allow people for vacation, potential sick time and everything else, it's 4 body count. And if we're doing the job correctly, watching what's going into the dumpsters as well as the compactors. Then you need 4 people there.
I'd like to see that study, but I mean, I'm looking at more just for somebody that can fill it. Part-time type deal. I know.
Good, it took us almost a year. Flying Joe. We were advertising all over.
What's your opinion?
But we need to start somewhere, so we should at least put the feelers out there and. Get it advertised that, you know, we're hiring at the transfer station. I mean, it's no mystery, they were only open 3 days a week, so.
Yeah, a lot of them part-time anyway, a lot of finishing part-time around it, so.
So regardless, it's gonna be a part-time job, so even if you posted it as part-time, it's.
Yeah,
You know.
retirement job.
Yeah.
Post it.
I can do that.
That's it for me. Town administrator. report.
I don't have much because I was away last week. I do have. What I've already talked to the board about, the oil tank at the transfer station does have interest. We have a gentleman out of Pittsfield who is looking to. Purchase and pick up said oil tank, and we'll make the accommodations, you know, to get everything arranged for him to pick up and do the payments for that. So.
I'll pull it out.
Great.
You'll help me.
Can you check the file? Is that was a grant?
I can,
It was.
And I wanna make sure that we don't have to give anything back as a result of.
Okay.
Getting rid of it. There's usually a time period with that, Caitlin. The paperwork can say that.
okay,
But.
I'll go ahead, I'll give that a look tomorrow.
Anything else?
That is it for the moment.
We have any department reports?
The department reports themselves for the month will be May 14th.
Business, okay, number 8, laptop discussion. Go ahead.
Okay, so we've got a need for 2, possibly 3 laptops for the town.
Carol.
Supervisor with the checklist, Carol needs an upgrade for a machine that's extremely old and non-functional. We have the treasurer that needs a laptop. And as a result of the selectman's office. Issues this last week with Caitlin being out but not having access to it, we decided we think we need a laptop for the office there too. The library has, as a result of grants it got during COVID, excess laptops that are not being used. They are willing to do a long-term loan, an annual agreement with the town. To basically say, here you are, use the laptops, you take care of them, whatever. It would be an actual sale, but unfortunately they were purchased with a grant. So until they get by their time period of the grant, they physically can't be disposed of. We have an opportunity. The third word actually, we have to look at purchasing a new unit. If we want to have 3 of them. My discussion with Caitlin yesterday and with Michelle. I'm in agreement that the office should have one. The event that either one of them is out for a reason, being able to have access to the town email systems and the town servers is important. So having that access to continue being able to function in the job is important. Questions?
I definitely believe that the treasurer should have its own laptop, not a library laptop.
What makes him special over?
Let me finish my sentence,
Okay.
interrupt, please. I'm looking at it from a standpoint that it's all the financial information that's on these laptops. And the laptop will stay here. I don't believe that we should. I'm looking at your agreement that. Maintaining, when the laptop is returned, the town would be responsible for removing the software. Okay, similar process.
Standard stuff.
So the town's responsible for purchasing and installing all the required software in the laptop, so we'll be paying for it, not the library. So if the library wants it back at the end of the year, we gotta get rid of delete the software and buy a new laptop. Right?
If it came to that, but
Well, it might,
it could,
yes,
it's always possibility, you're correct,
okay, so,
but we could always make that decision at the end of the year. We don't need to spend the excess money now. We've got perfectly good equipment available rather than spending town taxpayer dollars. I don't disagree, down the road, conditions will change, we may have to purchase one, but we don't need to do that.
We have no idea what the timetable is for. When they'll be released as far as like the response, the grant responsibility and stuff.
They're checking on that. Gracie's away right now. So as soon as they get back at the next trustees meeting, they will have that answer, but we do not have an answer to that.
because I put in this request 6 weeks ago. Asked her about the laptops. I'm not sure why it's taking so long.
Well, there was a bit of confusion, because I was working on a laptop for Carol based on her request, and you were working on 2 for your request. So until you and I talked, I didn't realize there were 3 laptops.
Okay,
For that's what Carol does have her hand up. I don't know if you want to recognize her or not.
say that.
I said Carol did have her hand up. I don't know if you
Yes,
want to
sir.
recognize her or not.
As
Go ahead.
far as the cost for software, you have like a 10 unit, don't you still have a pack of software? You don't have anything like that anywhere else?
No, we got
All
that.
right, so it's
Yeah, we have to install it.
individual.
Right.
And how we buy software is important, because Microsoft's trying to move everybody to monthly costs, which is very expensive.
Oh,
And there's still capability to purchase packages.
yeah.
So make it a one-time cost, you're not obligated to do anything for 3, 4, 5 years before you do an upgrade.
Right.
What was the cost from Lenhart on the last laptop we bought for her?
900.
And that's with the software and everything.
How much was this?
900, sorry.
Yes,
I agree with you, Leo, as far as the treasurer goes, I think that they should definitely have a town computer. Should not go through the library. And while it's very generous of the library to offer that, I do think that, as a townsperson, I would rather see the town purchase that for the treasurer that has all of our financials. It should never be on anyone's personal things or personal laptops at all. It should be a town-owned thing that can go from treasurer to treasurer to treasurer.
I agree. I guess still wait.
I agree totally with what she has said.
Still have a couple more questions. Wait a second.
Yeah, please.
I'll just interject one additional element here. The town moderator is responsible for tabulating the results of elections. And I'll tell you, the primary election this year and the town election, I did all that on my personal laptop. Okay, so I don't mind doing that, but I'm just saying, does it raise questions in case people say, oh, it was his personal laptop, how do we know everything was done correctly? How do we get any sort of historical data? It's on the guy's personal computer. So I'm just throwing that out there. I'm happy to serve the town using my computer. But I know that some people may, in the age of questioning electoral validity and security, that could become a discussion point.
Appreciate that.
Appreciate that. So,
Yes.
the last statement is, says the town would be responsible for insuring the property. Automatic under the Primex policy, no. So how do we insure something? Is it because it would be written into the agreement but we don't actually own it, so how do we insure something we don't
You're
own?
basically responsible for it, you insure it. It's automatic. That the agreement, in the language in the agreement, so the town signed it, it's a town responsibility, it's automatically under the town policy.
And do we know so
Guys, just vote on it, you guys want it, I'm gonna vote no, go ahead and vote yes.
Okay,
By the
so we're not
motion.
done, we're not done yet, Chuck.
Oh, yeah, I still have some
Come on,
questions.
please.
Well, I think Jim needs one too, if we're gonna get into this. I think Jim should have one too, because of election fraud and all the issues that are out there. That's a consideration that hasn't been brought up yet, as far as how many laptops does the town need access?
So how many the library is willing to provide?
Two at this point.
Okay, so one for Carol and one for Jim. So I make a motion to
This point, there's no possibility.
There's a possibility for more, but I've basically been asking them for two. I haven't asked them for more than two.
And
They've got 8. And they're not using 8.
Dave,
Right now, the ZBA, the planning board, and the budget committee share a laptop that's a town owned. Sits in that locker or in the office. If you decide to get a laptop for the office. Why can't our moderator share that when he needs to, the limited amount of time that he needs to do that, because this is gonna be a back, that's number 1 point. Number 2, it's just a computer. We own the software, we own the hardware, we own everything if they loan it to us, we can transfer that afterwards. Why would we not take advantage? Of something that we support the library with our tax dollars already. And they're willing to give back to the town to use. If in a year something happens, which I doubt it would. Go out and we buy, if we need to, but we probably are not gonna need to buy one for everybody. If 3 boards can end up sharing one computer, we should be able to figure that out instead of just running a bill for 3 different computers. So that's just my 2 cents.
so I still have questions, and I want to know if we had a chance to research the laptop that we purchased last year.
We use a research. What's your question?
I have not.
When she came back, she was gonna, and I know this is time sensitive and people want these laptops, but I think. We gotta get some questions. We purchased a laptop for the selectmen's office last year,
No, I was not aware of that.
so. We have to find out the history of that. And the status of that
Where is it?
first.
I just found out about this,
Okay,
so I have to do the research.
was it replacing that one right there?
It was, so. This was early on. And that laptop right there that sat on that desk for doing this, for the Zoom for the selectmen meeting, or they don't call that Zoom, they call it live streaming, whatever. It was too slow because of everything that was on the computer.
Mhm.
So that got designated just for that, and it stays on that desk.
I helped Audrey try to clean out the old one. There was some missing data on the old one, and it was a different computer than that. That, to my knowledge, is the new one that came as there now. The old one was an older model.
So that one at least is somewhere here too.
The old one, yeah, it's probably kicking around somewhere. It was no good.
So that's the point I'm getting at, is we need to find, before we enter an agreement or even purchase anything, and I know it's time sensitive. For everybody, and I appreciate that, but at the same time, I think we need to get a true inventory of what we actually own before we make a vote, make a decision.
We talked about that the other day. About coming up with an inventory.
I mean, they gotta be here
Do
somewhere.
we know, does Lenhart have an inventory of all of our systems?
I can ask them, I do not know that to my knowledge right now.
Well, they're supposedly servicing all the systems, so they should know what we have.
Exactly.
And I know they're not servicing all of them. So at least we'll know what we've got, and so there's some additional research.
okay, well,
Again, I know it's time sensitive, but I mean, for right now, my vote is to inventory and find out what we've already voted to purchase of taxpayers' money before we enter into anything or purchase anything else, so.
Well, what kind of a. Disagree with certain thing, I can wait on. One of them, but one of them for the treasurer, I think we should vote on that, I'd like to make a motion for that. Okay,
Just for me to interject, for me. I agree with Chris, I feel like we should do some inventory, find that first. I'm not in a rush, I'm not planning on taking any more time off, other than last week. So I'm not in a rush, if you wanna table the one for the Board of Selectmen's office, let's do some research first.
Mhm.
I'm okay with that, so I just wanted to.
Yeah.
Put my.
Any additional questions?
I'm just doing the math in my head about what we have for computers and I just. No,
So I'll make a motion that we purchase one computer, laptop for the treasurer's department. In seconds. Okay,
I'll second it, we'll continue the discussion.
second, we continue discussion, go ahead.
So the second bulletin of this. From the bottom, do we know? I'm not a computer guy, it's no mystery, right? So, so the town will be responsible for removing software and data and reinstalling on new system. Similar process to an upgrade to new equipment. What does that entail and how much does that sort of thing cost?
Unfortunately, it's an all depends. So it depends on how much software you have on the system. Depends how old that software is and whether it can be automatically moved or you have to upgrade a piece of software that's on the system. If it's strictly the data, there shouldn't be any data on that at all anyway. It should be on the backup system for the town. So none of the laptops should be storing any data whatsoever. If they're configured correctly, it should be all on the town servers and the backup system. So it's basically removing the Windows software, cybersecurity software, the email software. And that's really all that should be on the system.
So what's the cost of putting the old software back on? That was
Depends.
originally on it.
It depends, it's gonna be the same price whether it's on, whether you're doing an upgrade or this. There's
What's the software on there, 11?
Windows 11.
So when when we get it to the library, it would have to be scrubbed white.
No,
And then updated.
no, it's got Windows 11 on it, but that's it, there's nothing else on
So
it.
you just put Windows 11.
So it's
So why does it say reinstalling on new system?
because of it, depending on what other software, you have, like cybersecurity software.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity software the town is using is not the same the library is using. So that would have to come off. And the new software would have to be loaded to it.
There's a cost associated. You're talking probably what, $300 for software people to do that.
No, well, I think we're
No, you see wrong, I'm talking to you like hard.
no, the town. When we were doing this 3 years ago, the cybersecurity software was about $60 a piece, $70 a piece per year. So basically, all it is going in and deleting what's doing an uninstall. And going out and grabbing it and doing an install.
Yeah, it's the
So if
story.
somebody knows what they're doing, can do it over the phone, and it shouldn't take more than 15 minutes. But that's one of the issues I have with our current supporter for IT, is they won't do anything over the phone, they gotta insist on getting in the car and driving up here from Barrington to do whatever work they do. Harold, most of yours is gonna be directly with the state, right? You'll be diving into the state.
The state just yesterday went live with a brand new election system. In a presidential year, it's gonna be fun, but they now are using Excel, which we were not using earlier.
Really?
So we would want, obviously, the Microsoft Suite or whatever for Word and Excel. That's about the only requirements we would have. And it's possible, we need our laptop really at elections. Is what we need, because we need to be able to get onto the system, the state system. We need to be able to prove people. I don't know if there's a way the moderator could put his stuff on that laptop ahead of time, and then as soon as the election's over, I hand it over to you. I mean, there's a possibility for that short term, I don't know if that would work long term. We can leave the laptop in the, over there.
Jim, from your standpoint, is that sharing with the supervisor of the checklist good, bad, and different? Do you need a Chinese
I
wall?
mean, right
there?
now, we're both doing it on our personal.
No, I know, but I'm saying for a policy, do you need a
Yeah.
Chinese wall?
Yeah, what's needed for elections is not that much. Basically, the counts go into an Excel spreadsheet. Okay, so it doesn't need a lot. Now, the deciding factor might be that on election night, we're both processing information. So to share the computer at that same time would mean that we'd be there
Yeah,
even
so-
later
Yeah.
than we already
Right, we're
are.
both reconciling at the end too.
Yeah.
Both of you.
So for that reason alone, it would be
So
hard to
the-
share.
With Caitlin's idea with the town laptop.
Yeah.
We could actually, once we've decided what the town laptop is, that would actually be petitioned. So basically, you'd have an individual sign-on ID to that unit, nobody else could get into it but you. You would have your sign-on ID to your portion of that laptop, you couldn't see anything that's on his side to do that. That is something that Lenhart would have to do, and that is a programming item for the computer. Once it's set up, it's once and done.
If there's cost stuff.
So in the interim of doing the inventory and finding the missing computer,
So there's only.
if that's the new computer verified. Then why can, that's all it does, right?
From
Then
my knowledge, yeah.
Why can't that one become the treasurer's laptop? We take a library laptop that we get borrowed and that can live there.
Do you know the requirements that you, of that unit? Actually, I can find out the requirements of that unit on Wednesday. So I can take a look at that unit on Wednesday and find out the requirements of that one and compare it against from the library laptops.
The amount of requirements on the software.
RAM and things like that.
All it's used is for
Yeah, but
the meeting, right?
But part of the reasoning that computer was probably configured the way it was, and the reason it was slow is you didn't have enough brain power going on in it. When you did the upgrade, it gave you the brain power.
Right, but there was a black computer there before, right? Laptop that used to do that and it was too slow, so we bought that.
No,
one.
I understand, but from a use of, could we use a library computer there rather than that computer? I need to take a look and see what's on that computer for the requirements to make sure that is, the library computer meets that requirement.
I mean,
I don't think it's gonna be an issue, but I won't know until we look at it. And it'll take 10 minutes to do.
I mean, if we own that laptop and that literally just sits there. That's, was it
Now that
$900?
laptop's gonna be sitting over there. treasurer.
Right, that's a $900 laptop. If we could utilize another laptop for this purpose. Then I
And where are you
think.
gonna get the laptop?
What?
We'll use one of those. I'll know the answer Wednesday.
Hopefully. In the meantime, I think that, I mean, for me, I mean, I remember making the vote and we spent like $900 on that, just. to
That's
put
what
on
that's
that
what
desk.
they cost, yeah.
That's not money well spent, in my opinion, so we
I
meet
mean,
every other week.
For Carol's needs of the library laptop. It was a $20 part to increase the RAM. And it was $150 one time for the Microsoft software. Period. That computer will then last for probably another 4 or 5 years.
Okay, so we'll table the motion till we have the results for the next meeting.
Oh.
You'll get the information from that
The election
laptop.
is next meeting is in June, so I have till June till I have to start tabulating stuff. Election is September.
I mean,
Yeah,
I would make the motion to support. The gracious offer of the library for the trustees, and if. The RAM meets the criteria to utilize it for,
It will
the
be,
library.
it'll be far less expensive, even if I gotta put RAM in it. On a library laptop to get that upgraded, than it will be.
Okay, so we got one for the trustees. That's, it's got checked about for the treasurer, and we have one for the treasurer, and okay. You wanna use library or? You Need 3 computers.
so I'm not gonna.
Let me go back to the well and see if I get another computer. mean, they've got 8 of them.
Yeah, can we just table this? Because I'm not gonna lie, I have my reservations, like not knowing this stuff makes me an idiot, right? I'm the first to say. So I have my reservations about the financial stuff because it's not ours. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I don't want to see, I mean, Bill's doing a good job, and I want to see Bill use his personal computer, but all the town financial records on his computer.
Got that. I don't disagree with that.
And I don't want to see it on the library.
It's not.
It's not a library facility.
That's where you're,
That's
where you're
my-
having your issues. You can't get by that one issue. That's okay. I think
And-
Chris's solution, I think will work.
And I unfortunately can't, and I know it's just a word thing, but it says when the laptop is returned and that,
That's. okay.
I just would,
It's in
I'd
there.
like to table, right, and if, so I'd like to table it. To do the homework on that, also Grace should be back, we can maybe get a response on when,
The
and if,
minutes,
the when and ifs and clarify that.
when the grants are up, when can we?
I mean,
and I mean-
it would have been a sale to the town for $1
Yeah,
if we knew the answers on the
Right.
grants and stuff. We just didn't have the access to the answers. on
and
the
I think
grants.
that those, computers would be more than sufficient with what knowledge
Yes.
I had.
Yeah.
It's,
I mean, they're all-
and we own that,
they're-
and it just sits there, so it's
The
just,
library
it's a
one's
no
all-
brainer.
it's 11. They've got
Yeah.
The good bells and whistles and everything else.
Okay, so going forward. You're gonna review that laptop tomorrow.
Yep.
And if it does have the data correctly and everything else.
I don't think that's the reason why we can't
Okay.
just get Bill that computer.
That's what I'm
Now,
at.
The issue's gonna be, before you give it to him. That computer needs to make sure it's got cybersecurity and everything else on it.
Well, you'll be doing that, right? Tomorrow.
Well,
I can check it, but he won't be getting that computer. If it doesn't have cybersecurity on it
I
tomorrow.
understand that, but you're gonna have a report tomorrow.
Yes,
What's
Yes.
available on that computer and what's, if anything, that needs to be
Yes.
updated.
yes.
That's what I'm
I'll
looking
look
for.
at that.
Okay, so.
What's he need for software, do you know?
Standard. I'll,
He's gonna need Excel.
right,
You haven't got Microsoft on there, right?
How about one?
That
11,
one right there? You have
This
Microsoft
one, I
Office.
can see Excel and Word at the bottom of
I was
it.
gonna say, I thought that had everything in it, so.
And I know he'll need,
okay, so,
access to all of it.
so you give us a report, you
Yep.
get back to us as soon as possible with the report, and we can, we don't have to wait till next
And
week.
even if we just move that,
Okay, no, if the answer is yep, let it go, then there's no reason why Bill can't take
Right,
that one. You need to basically make sure you can change his password, login IDs and all that other stuff. And that his email gets set up on there, which.
I
you can
have
help him
knowledge.
with anyway. And then he can walk out the door with that hopefully tomorrow.
so in the interim, we'll have a library laptop here for the next week.
I will make sure that happens.
Okay, good.
Excuse me, just one thing. You said trustees, it's for the supervisors, just so it gets recorded, right? It's not for the trustees of the trust funds, the one I mean.
Supervisor, yeah.
Yeah, supervisors of the debt, I just wanted to go in right.
Did I say trustee?
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay, I just wanted to get.
is that
Right, from the
fair, does
get-go.
that make sense? That makes sense.
Agree.
No,
I mean, we
that's-
just, that's a brand new
that's-
computer. We paid $900 for that, just to say on that test, it just.
Your kitchen sounded nice.
And just, well, before we just close this one out, when we do upgrades moving forward, whether we're doing in this office. Alan's office, PD. Fire department, we do laptops with docking stations. Rather than physical PCs.
Yes.
It is a waste of money to do physical PCs nowadays.
Mhm.
And that way we solve the use of being able to take it home or whatever you need to do with it outside the
And a
office.
tracking device.
Are you in process also reviewing the system? Letting our.
That's happening tomorrow, that's why I'm here.
Okay, we'll have a report on that, too.
Yes,
Thank you.
And that doesn't mean that the inventory does get scrapped or forgotten about, we still need to do that because the computer that one replaced.
I
gotta be there
have
somewhere.
booked it for the morning, so in the morning, my goal is to try to see if there's an inventory that I can get going. So I just set a reminder.
and then whatever you don't have from like police departments, fire departments. Zoning, just ask them, to send you an email what they have.
Okay.
Legal and interested, I don't know if you're open to the idea of moving up the discussion about the shelter. That way, Mr. Paul, have freedom select. Move on.
Yes, yes, we'll move it up.
Okay, fellas, this is entertaining.
Really, I can make it more entertaining if you want. All right, we'll have the discussion for the shelter. JT and Mr. Paul.
And Mr. Peckham.
Mr. Peckham, yes.
Want me to go first? Well,
Pick a number.
well, first of course, that little dust and the snow we had on the floor kind of got all our attention. On behalf of the Selectmen of the Town of Freedom and the Town of Freedom, I want to thank you fellas and the Town of Effingham for inviting us to make use of your Red Cross emergency shelter you set up over at the elementary school. We didn't really, I guess, learn about it much before Saturday, or at least that's when I became aware of it, in the discussion with Chief Mullins and Chief Cuneo. But reflecting on that, I know back when we were working here a few years ago on our emergency mitigation plan, one of the things we agonized over is what do we have that would service the Town of Freedom as in the way of a shelter? And we really don't. The school, doesn't have a generator. We have no cooking facilities down there. We do have a generator and cooking facilities at the town hall, but to try to set up cots there probably isn't too conducive. Anyway, that's what we settled on and kind of called it a warming center as opposed to a shelter. What I guess I would like to do is I would like to start a conversation between the Town of Freedom and the Town of Effingham and see if there's some way that we could partner with you if you're going to continue to have a full-blown shelter over here to the elementary school. I think it would make financial sense for both of us.
Okay. JT or Archie?
So I support it. I mean, I think that's why we did it the last time. It doesn't make sense for all of our towns to be scrambling to come up with something when we have the perfect option here in town. Obviously, there is some question where Freedom is not part of Governor Wentworth schools. So should Freedom have an emergency that we're not part of, they may need a shelter and our kids may be in school. So there may be some concern there that we need to work out with the district and see if the district is willing to allow that to occur.
Okay.
I have reached out to state emergency management to see if they have any MOUs like this between two towns. I haven't heard back yet. So I'm sure there's got to be something out there. There's got to be two towns somewhere that have partnered with a shelter. So
makes sense.
And excuse me, but Rob and I discussed that a little bit this morning, and that was a concern that he brought up. I think the kind of emergency that we're talking about is the kind that we just had here first of the month. If Freedom has something that just concerns the Town of Freedom, I think our warming center services us quite well for that situation. I look at this as being more something that is kind of catastrophic to the area, not to the individual town.
I think it'd be a 1 in a million to have something that affects you, but not us. That's so. I asked Mr. Pittman if he was able to attend. He's our representative to the school district for the town. So I know he can't speak on their behalf, but he's got the intel.
Well, I'm not only the representative from Effingham to the district, but also happen to be the leader of the building and maintenance committee. And Chris alluded earlier that we had gotten together and had a meeting. Chris and JP came over to Wilkesboro, and some of it was partly a review of the last event, and some of it was to discuss what could we improve going forward, so that some of the shortcomings that were identified in this particular case can be rectified. I think I could speak on behalf of the school district that we're very interested in partnering with the town to work towards being a better product in that regard. And if the storm had a benefit, it was that it pointed out areas where we were not as good as we would hope to be. Now, I'll also add, I don't know what information you have, but there is some movement to create a relationship between the town of Freedom's school system and the Governor Wentworth Regional School District. Now, that's very nebulous at the moment, but I don't think whether that happens or doesn't happen, that that's any sort of limiting factor. I think that the proximity here just absolutely makes sense. That advantage to Freedom should be there and not arbitrarily like, yeah, sorry, the town line's over there, you know, go home. And you know, our superintendent has stated, you know, if people from Freedom, for example, came over during the storm, they wouldn't be turned away, you know, they would be welcomed. I know there was a story, an anecdotal story going around that in Wolfboro. They threw somebody out of the shelter over there. Now, did it happen? I'm not really sure it did. Or was it embellished? Was there something else going on? But I think I can say with certainty that the school district would not engage in that sort of behavior. You know, people in need, you know, it doesn't matter your zip code. Now, to build on that, if we had some truly huge type of catastrophe, let's say we had fires on the scale that they've experienced out west, or let's say we had a major tornado come through here, which thanks to climate change could happen. You know, it has happened recently. You know, those would be large scale events that would make having a facility like that robustly configured even more important than for this last storm. And I think that's the vision that we're talking about, updating the emergency plan, just so that we can identify, okay, what do we need to do to improve on the situation and understand the procedures, because there was a little head scratching on this particular storm, nothing major, but again, it was another opportunity to say, oh, this was a gap in our plan. So that's sort of my long-winded response, I guess, but I hope it sounds positive.
Well, no, I think it does. And again, I don't expect anything to be decided tonight. I want to start the conversation. And the incident that you're talking about kind of happened, and it happened before we were aware of the invitation to use the shelter, and quite frankly, probably to everybody's benefit, the way it was handled was probably the way it should have been handled. We bought a hotel room out in Conway. And anyways, yeah, I just want to start this conversation. I just think it would be beneficial. Again, the running of that wasn't for nothing. I mean, there was a cost associated with that, and if Freedom can participate in some of those cost reimbursements, we're partnering. Mutual aid works wonderful, and I think that cooperation can bleed over into more than just fire and police.
And speaking with the fire chief and Freedom, they have some personnel, some volunteers in town that are willing to come help run the shelter as well. So, you know, there's a benefit there to us as well. They'll have people so we can start working in shifts and moving staff in and out of the shelter.
With Brian Taylor heads up a volunteer group that's based through the state, and again would have been available to come over here had there been the coordination to help with the personnel. Again, I think there's a lot of potential here.
Which our conversation on, you know, our work session about the do's and don'ts and the things went well, and the conversation at the school board building committee meeting, what came out of that also was, to your point, is the use of volunteers and getting enough volunteers that can get there. One of the points that came up was the fact that the south side of town was limited access to the north side of town, just in Effingham. So to get volunteers to help run that shelter, where it's a school district building, maybe we could invite Ospey as well as Freeland. And with that come the volunteers possibly, so. And an easy resolution, if that happened again, we could always put the toll bridge back and just move the signs.
Just scratch his cab up. I thought we could all get along. It's been a long time since 1831.
It's 200 years. So JT, you're gonna be heading this, or?
Yeah, if that's the board's okay with, yeah.
He's our EMS manager. so-
Yeah. And
You
yeah,
get
I'd like to
along
be
with
part of,
No, I would just want to put records up.
yeah, I'd like to be part of that conversation to continue and. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes.
Great.
Well, fellas, thank you, and again, we really do appreciate the offer for the service during the crisis. And you speak of access, the poor guys are on the plow trucks, they were cutting trees ahead of them to plow the road, only to turn around and see trees behind them, and they were boxed in quite a lot, but.
I think it's safe to assume that in the event that we do have another catastrophic event before we have some sort of agreement, they will be more than welcome to come once again.
Oh, well, and again, just with this knowledge, I'm sure that Brian and his people would be more than happy. Again, it's the knowledge that we just lacked at the, again, a day makes a huge difference. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Hank.
Thank you. I'll stay around if you want some more excitement.
Just got done with ours last night.
JT, for my part, I'll just let our superintendent know that this conversation took place, so it's on her radar.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, emergency management trust fund request funds. We put in a request for.
It should be in the business folder. but-
$16,000.
Yeah, you got the money, you got the number?
Yeah.
I do want to make it, well, probably. And it's not the emergency management trust fund, because we have one of those, it's the emergency management disaster.
I didn't want to speak too long, so.
No, it's written down
I
as
know.
emergency management, I just
So-
want to make sure it's written down as.
It could have been me quickly.
That's
making
fine.
sure-
It's written down correctly.
Okay.
It's $16,767.
Check is here. You got the sign back?
Just hand it over.
The trust fund people require vouchers, these days signed by all three select.
Chris, you want it?
You have the original.
You signed it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
You have it.
Yeah, we signed it.
She needs it.
I can't go home without it. You should have your copy.
Yes, I did take a copy for our office, so the original will go to. the
Wayne,
invoice.
no, thank you very much, Phil.
Thank you.
Uh,
Yeah, I just noticed you got your highway though.
Huh? Wait a minute, huh?
Chris, you want to go into details what the money was for? The 16.
Sure, we can.
Question.
Yep, so the $16,000 was for the removal of trees during the storm and to get around with the contractor, the winter road contractor. It was outside of the purview of the winter roads because it was tree damage. Anybody that went out, anybody that saw the aftermath knows that, and as Mr. Paul just stated, go down the road, cut your way through it to remove the snow, turn around and do it again. Anybody that was here during the ice storm in 97, 98, my recollection, I think this one was worse. I think the Effingham suffered more damage than the ice storm, personally. So that's what the $16,000 were for. We felt, and the trustees, and we did go to legal advice from NHMA on if they felt that it fit the criteria for this trust under the disaster side of it, and they felt that it did. So there was With interest, approximately $39,000 in change in that fund, so the $16,000 comes from that, so.
Okay,
Is there conversation about expanding that purpose of unforeseen disasters?
yeah,
So, you want me to
go ahead and talk, Art.
Yeah, so our intention is to, we have homework to do to tighten up the language of that trust. So there'll be a warrant article to tighten up the language and to add language that states that any additional money that we get from reimbursement, hopefully from FEMA, will go towards this particular article for future use.
We're definitely gonna add to the fund.
So, you know, like,
It should be used.
you know, if we get like FEMA money, it'll go into the capital reserve fund, so then we'll have to be aware of that and write a warrant article to remove that money
Reserve.
from the capital reserve to move into this trust and vote on that at town meeting.
It should be,
I believe that would be the proper
much
procedure.
cleaner if it's rewritten. So you can say,
No,
Yes. Okay.
Huh?
Any questions?
okay.
You all set, Dave? All right, next, town hall, library, American flag discussion. Chuck, you got this.
It came to our attention this week, in both locations that our American flags hanging on our poles have been with a little too much. And they have either holes and or frays, in them, we need to be replaced. I did a little homework online to try and figure out if we could get something a little more tough than we've had in the past, because we seem to be replacing the flags in the library's case. It was only replaced like 8 or 9 months ago, and it's already ripped.
Really?
Yeah,
This money lasts about 5 years.
yeah. So I believe what we had ended up purchasing was nylon based on the research I did, and nylon will not last with the volume of wind that we get. It needs to be a knitted polyester, which is a little more expensive, but not bad. So we need to basically replace the 2 flags there. It also was mentioned in both cases by a couple of different people, same issue, that because we leave our flags up at night, those flags should be lighted.
yes.
I actually did a little homework, and there's actually, we can come up with an LED flagpole light, which is driven by solar, and they're basically $80 a piece.
Is this mounted to the pole up high
If-
enough so
if-
nobody can steal it?
If we mount it high enough, yes,
You think?
Yeah, a third flag for that.
we can with
The fire station flag is missing.
You would, okay,
Should put flight during one of this month,
What-
along with the other day.
so the library one's a 3x5, this one out front here looks like it's a 4x6. What do you think you need?
Probably 4x6.
Okay.
It's a big pole.
You need halyard and everything.
Yeah.
And you're gonna need a light.
Dave has a-
Yeah,
No, we're-
I got
You got lighted?
a question. Okay, so what's the cost for the flags about?
The 3x5 is $37 minus 10%. The 4x6 is $49 minus 10%.
About 100.
And if we
$40.
needed to do a 5x8, I don't think that one out there is 5x8. But if we did that one, $78 minus 10%,
$150, and
and the
then,
lights are $80 a piece.
so we're looking at about $350.
I think it's added up.
I got a question, are those flags made in America or a lot of Chinese manufacturers are making the flag?
US made, US made, US made. That was my primary search component.
That's all I want to know.
Dave?
You already find this in your budget, so just want to see 4583 on the page.
It's for the purpose.
Yeah, so.
Yeah.
Caitlin, if you just make sure there's no tracks that, right, then it goes over, you can justify it. So we have the correct chart.
So I have a question.
Go ahead.
So there used to be illumination on both of these flagpoles. Do we know what happened to them? There used to be spotlights on both the flagpoles.
I have never seen one.
4583 would be marked that down.
Since Christ was a baby, or since I attended an elementary school here.
Yeah.
That flagpole was always illuminated. There used to be a spotlight off in this building.
So
And there used to be a spotlight off in the town hall library that illuminated the. When I repainted the flagpole that's at the library. however many years ago, I don't know. It was illuminated then.
So the light, the only light that I know right now that's on that corner actually faces Townhouse Road. It doesn't face the flag at all. We just changed it out to an LED in the
Yeah.
camera. And it,
Is it
I
possible
don't know
that
if I can, maybe we'll take one of the lights, one of the LEDs on that, because it's a double LED. The flood, and there may be a way to turn one of them. I'll check that first and see if it can happen.
my recollection used to be somewhere in the vicinity of the door?
Mm,
No, there's nothing.
nothing.
Oh, no, you know, something that new system is motion activated. So no, we'd end up doing. But if we do it high up on the pole. Basically.
I just didn't know if it was something that we were overlooking so silly as the light bulb is burnt out like here and there's a spotlight, you know what I mean? And we just didn't see it, you know what I mean?
I understand.
Have you looked at the outside? I don't know. If
I haven't and I will, but.
Okay, before we do it, we'll just check it tonight on the way out.
Do we need a motion on this?
No. No, they want it.
Right.
If it's wide.
Thank you, Ron.
You all set, Chuck?
Yeah.
Next, discussion of the 1930 silent war fund. Carol, you're up.
Yes, it came to my attention that we do not currently have any trustees for that trust. Which are assigned by the Board of Selectmen.
You want to go into detail with the trust is about?
Well, okay, sure, the trust was from the 1930s and it was set up with $1,000 principal. And before we had general assistance and welfare here, that was a fund that the town could go to and help people with groceries or whatever, always anonymously. And we cannot get rid of this fund unless we take it to court. It's too small a fund to take it to court.
So it's just interest, right? That we can't touch the
It's
bet.
an interest only.
Right.
So what would happen is, somebody could approach the silent board, trustees, one of which will be Westy, our general assistants. I did find two others, you had me find two others, I found two other trustees for you.
Or two.
We found one here, Rosemary Weisenbach and Eric Jones, will
Okay.
both be happy to serve. The last time we touched this fund was in 2016, when we found it had $1,300 of interest sitting in there, because nobody had ever been able to tap the fund in the current times. That money was taken out and given to the welfare officer of the town at the time for little incidentals along the way for people while they were waiting for their paperwork, to work. So right now, currently, there's like $82.67 in the fund. It's not gonna build quickly. But my thought was I could sit down with the trustees and do the same thing we do for the library trusts. And like every 5 years, cut them a check for $20 or whatever, so the interest doesn't accrue like that again.
Okay.
And that's it.
Good.
And then, so I'm just giving you the suggestion of those trustees, and I think you as a board have to appoint them or vote them.
Make a motion to support the appointments of Carol Pfister, Rosemary Weisenbach, and Eric Jones to the,
No, it's Wesley Chris, I'm just helping.
oh, Wesley Chris.
Oh, you're, I thought you said you're volunteering.
No, I'm volunteering to get this done for you.
Rosemary Weisenbach and Eric Jones to the trustees of the Silent War Fund.
Second.
All in favor?
Thank you, Carol.
Thank you.
Look forward to that interest.
$2 a year.
I know.
Well, since 1930, $1,000 in an account, how much interest would that?
That was, yeah, well, you had,
You're
well,
talking 70, 80, 90
when I
years.
started working on the trust years ago, you remember. I was in there. I found that 375 had been added to the initial $1,000, so it was in the wrong fund, so.
Oh.
So they ended up with 2 checks to the total.
Okay, got it. Vicky, you're up. Engine 2, RFP.
So this is still in draft form. Thanks to the waste management driver that took down the lines today. I didn't have time to finish it up before the meeting. There's a couple typographical errors, but this is the core content of what I'm looking to put out.
Did we lose power? No.
So
Just
it went, anybody on Draper lost power for sure.
okay.
But I think everybody else did.
Got it. Sorry, go ahead.
This is the core content of what I'm looking to put out for an RFP for engine two's refurbishment. There's a couple typographical things that I need to change in it, but ultimately. I will share the final copy with the board, but I was looking for permission once those errors are corrected to move forward with getting this posted, so we can get the ball rolling.
What are you recommending here on all chassis, cab, body? Does it all have to be replaced? Are you looking for all this to be done?
So essentially what we did with this, we got the original 3 quotes that we had
Right.
shared prior. We picked those each apart. We took the parts that we wanted from each of them and got rid of the parts we didn't want or didn't need. So there's nothing new. We're not requesting anything new from those quotes.
Okay.
We just got rid of some stuff and pulled some stuff in. We did modify some wording. We did get rid of a couple things that we just felt were unnecessary. So we should stay right in the same price point as the previous quotes. I would guess that all 3 vendors will quote again based on this RFP. But there's no new information here
Okay,
from what we've talked about.
so I'm looking at it. From engineering standpoint, replace drive shaft U joints. Do we know they're bad or you just want to replace them?
It's a preemptive thing. It's a preemptive
PMI.
thing, rather
Yeah.
than coming down the road and doing it later.
Patient. What's that? You have the patient open, work on it.
Yeah, right.
Oh, I understand.
So have you had anybody kind of like outside of the people that have been working on this, look at this and say, did you miss anything? What do you think?
We have not, and because we got the 3 estimates.
Yeah.
We felt that, there were 3 professional organizations that do this every day. They came and all 3 of them physically looked at the truck, inspected underneath, inside and out. So we felt that that was a pretty secure.
Can I, Leo, can I ask a question?
Yes, please, Steve.
Have you checked JT and found out, are they willing to requote?
They will have to. So they knew when they provided us those
I
original
mean,
estimates,
no, I'm saying, no, I'm gonna back out that.
not at this point.
Okay,
No, basically, when this is finalized and it gets posted, I will send this to those 3 companies and say, here you go, here's your opportunity if you still wanna do the work.
all right,
So as far as I know, at least 2 of them will requote.
yeah. I mean, could you be stuck possibly with only one quoting it?
I highly doubt that.
Okay,
How many vendors you're going to?
We'll send it to as many as we can find, the more quotes, the better, in my opinion.
Yeah.
I mean, I think there's some merit in looking towards local companies.
Oh,
One of the quotes we got initially would require us to take the truck to Iowa. I have no desire to do that. But the more quotes, the better. We'll send it as far as mine as we can.
Okay. Yes.
Their national posting capabilities, you can through fire association, state and federal fire association, or
I can probably target the main New Hampshire and Mass Municipal Association and get it posted with the RFPs there. That's what a lot of towns will do, like when they're trying to purchase new apparatus, they'll post them in the bid section of the municipal website.
So when you finalize the draft, before you post it out, you're gonna bring this back to the board.
If that's what the board would like, I'm just trying to get this out as soon as we can, so if the board wants to see it again before it's posted. We can do that, but I don't plan to change any of the content that you see in front of you. There's just, I misspelled some stuff in here and, omitted some things, some minor things that need to be.
I just wanted to question out. You guys
you
know.
gotta add some. Due dates and
Yeah.
things like that.
I did not include a due date, correct, and that was a question for the board.
An open window of this time period, due date of.
Right.
And whether you wanna have. Besides their proposal, you wanna have anything else from them.
I did include on the first page of the last paragraph there. We do want to see the cost breakdown in a line by line format. That was something we had with the estimates before. Warranty description, estimated start date, estimated date of completion, and the payment terms.
So Yes, I totally agree that you should have a cost estimate for each one of these, like the chassis, you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8 different categories. Should you probably add something at the end of the line or the sentence? There, so they can fill in the costs, or how you're looking to get the cost back?
Spreadsheet it, how you gonna,
Yeah, how you
Make it
gonna get that?
easy.
This is Word, so.
Yeah,
But they'll send it to you spreadsheet. form.
I mean, they're probably gonna build it in their own quoting system. Most of them have software that does that stuff for them.
Yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, we could provide them with a kind of fill in the blank type of situation if they choose to use that.
Yeah, and most likely their quote will come in a spreadsheet form. So,
Replicate to this. Okay. Alright,
And.
whatever you feel comfortable.
To Chuck's point, once we post this, how long from our posting date do we wanna keep it open? My gut says 2 weeks, but I don't know.
I think it'll take longer, yeah. A lot of work there.
if somebody's coming, looking at it, right, the 3 or 4 that have the inside advantage, can get back into it.
Absolutely.
Like, you got a new supplier,
I think at least 4 weeks.
I would say 1
4
month.
weeks.
that's what I was thinking for it.
I agree.
I would prefer 6 weeks.
Yeah.
Do you think just hopefully, because somebody's looking at this brand new, they know they're gonna wait a time, they know they're gonna get on it, but. Not like it's tomorrow.
The only thing I'll say is the shorter our time frame is, the more difficult it would be for further away vendors to get here, which. Take that for what it's worth. If a vendor, on the other side of Massachusetts wanted to come up and look at the truck,
Yeah, the 6 weeks, you can't do it.
I'm saying, do we wanna open it too long and give them too much time to travel here?
I don't mind, with our procurement policy saying with something this big, we should be getting bids and proposals if we can. I think we should take a look at it.
I'm good with 6 if that's. If you're all in agreement.
I am.
Anything else? Public?
You're such a nice chair, you know? Public, just.
He said it's possible.
You're up again, JT, with the brush fire that I saw last Saturday, was it?
So prior to that, I'll start out, 2 Sundays ago, we had a building fire here in town, right across the street on School Street. Thankfully, our mutual aid, especially Freedom, I could have said this while he was here, but thankfully they were right on the ball. They actually beat us here. Thankfully, Tyler happened to be at the station working on a project when the fire came in, so he was able to get the truck on the road within a minute of the tone. So even with that head start, Freedom beat us here by a few minutes, but minimal damage to the house. They can still occupy it and everything else. There was a pellet stove that was running and shooting embers out of a stovepipe onto the dry ground, which ignited the dry ground and burned a boat, which then extended to the house. So just goes to show what the ground is like these days and how dry the ground is these days. That pine needle layer and everything, this last storm helped knock a lot of that stuff down.
So I tried to pitch my cigar out.
I would not recommend that. So,
Go for that.
thanks to our mutual aid for the help on that fire. Again, thankfully it wasn't a very big fire. We were able to get to it quick. Freedom was instrumental in being here as fast as they were and kind of taking control of that and put the fire out.
I just have one question. So given the fact that it made the news, how mad were you that you were out of the area?
So yeah, I decided to take a day and bring my kid to the Boston Aquarium. So I was in Boston when we saw her. No more time away from me.
I didn't get that, what do you mean? You were-
It was on the news and he wasn't here.
On that fire?
Yeah, unfortunately, he was out of the area, so.
Oh,
I
really?
got here for the did the investigation, but yeah.
How many acres?
No, this was a house fire.
Okay,
So
He was there for the fourth fire.
so why did you get this in the news?
No, the house fire was on the news.
the house,
Yeah, no.
yeah.
I'm guessing they were in the area.
They were-
They must have been at the courthouse or something, I don't know.
Something, yeah.
What do they say on all the time, slow news day, whatever, so.
All right,
But shout out to the mutual aid, you know, thank you for helping us out with that. Good stuff. The brush fire, so Saturday morning, Green Mountain Fire Tower came on the air and said we got quite a large area of smoke showing from the area of Clough Road over towards Pocket Mountain and Ossipee, somewhere in that whole region. So we were dispatched along with Ossipee Corner Fire, so we could each check our sides. We all got out to the area, Tyler included. We could definitely see the smoke, we could smell the smoke, we could see the fire through the woods, but we couldn't find it. Tyler went running into the woods and went on a little hike and was actually the first one to find the fire. He estimated it at about an acre when he put eyes on it. By the end of the day, we burned 20.2 acres in the state forest. We actually had to use chainsaws to cut a road in. There was no access for vehicles or people to get in there. So we cut our own road in. We did go up to a third alarm. We had somewhere in the ballpark of 10 to 12 departments here assisting us. And we had about 100 boots on the ground with manpower from all these towns. Very long, very exhausting day. These guys did some incredible work. The amount of fire that we had in those woods was pretty incredible. Very hard to get to, very tough to get equipment to, very tough to get water to. All of those things were a huge challenge. So again, shout out to all the mutual aid that came far and wide to help with this. I think our furthest department was Milton that came up.
do you use a forester?
We did. So on our Facebook page, there's a video of it breaking through the woods.
Yeah.
Really?
So it
And
did.
your bicycle.
Yeah, and
That was good.
so when we showed up, there was a little bicycle on the side of the road, a kid's bike. So in one of the photos that got posted, it's sitting in front of Tyler's cruiser. And that's
It's sitting in front of a cruiser, it's the first thing in line, and you said Tyler was there first. Tyler rode the bike there?
They all have.
yeah.
No cause or.
Mike's playing matches.
Yeah, for the brush fire, we do not know of a cause. We've got a couple potentials, but nothing solid. With a fire that large, it's pretty difficult to tell. There was some info about some hunters in and out of the area that were seen smoking cigarettes roadside. Who knows? While we were there, while we were at this fire, we went to another illegal outside fire just around the corner on Simon Hill Road. So somebody decided they were gonna burn all their rabbit coops and everything else while looking down the hill at this giant brush fire. So who knows if an ember from their illegal fire spread?
Yeah.
It's hard to say. So, but with that being said, you need a permit to burn anything outside. You cannot burn until after 5 p.m. unless it's raining. And you still need a permit if it is raining. The only time you do not need a permit is when there is adequate snow cover, which is 100 feet in all directions around the fire, not your little pile of snow.
Which is why I stopped by and none of you were there. You were all at the fire. I didn't know.
Yeah, so
Well, thank you, Tyler, for your work, and
Both days, because
JT.
you know, you guys had a bunch of people go back the next day.
yep, we did go back on Sunday. Thankfully, one of our department members has a drone, so that was actually how we got our first eyes on the fire, was actually getting a drone up in the air, and that was how we were able to see.
I could see it,
The gravity of
I
it.
could see it from the house really well.
Oh, yeah, and
The drone he was talking about.
Just remind me not to talk.
Grants available for emergency loans for fire departments and police.
that's something we will definitely be looking into.
Because it sounds, nowadays, it sounds like that's an excellent.
Freedom
Ooh.
PD has.
Yeah.
Freedom PD had one donated. He has works for us.
Yeah,
as
there's
a operator.
Some way that could be a grant opportunity, because that would be great.
It would be a great item. to
And
have.
save you trips into the woods, right?
I don't.
He had fun.
What are we gonna do? It's on, I think we put it out.
We couldn't see it. It was so, that first layer of woods was so thick. When you broke through.
You get into the hardwoods.
Yeah, once I got in the hardwoods, I could get out to it and it started coming downhill pretty quick.
Yeah.
I pulled it back up.
Thankfully, we got a fair amount of rain Saturday night overnight, and then Sunday morning it started raining really hard while we were there with the drone. And thankfully that extinguished most of the hot spots. We contained it, we got a good line around it, so it wouldn't go any further, but we let everything in the middle keep burning overnight. Once we pulled everybody out of the woods, so thankfully going back the next day, the rain had fully extinguished all of that stuff. After the rain stopped, we did go back with 6 or 7 guys, we did go back into the woods. further enhancing our need for an ATV. Thankfully, a private citizen loaned us their ATV for the day, so we weren't walking through the woods all day long.
I told you, it's right there, come get it, you could have driven right there down the Rumney Road, and you could have taken my drone with you.
Perfect, so we're going to Chris's house, come with your equipment.
I stopped there.
Take the bulldozer.
Station 3.
Yeah.
Good.
How often do we have someone at the tower?
They are staffing just about every day. Just about every day, there's somebody there. Specifically on the high fire danger days, there's always somebody there. So anytime the fire danger is high or very high.
Class 3 or higher, it's staff, and because it's been class 3 or higher.
Yeah,
It's been
even in a lot of the lower classes, he's still going up there, so. And he does,
Just about every day that I heard it.
oh yeah, he does incredible work. He does incredible work up there. Another shout out from the brush fire, Hannaford's donated a bunch of meat platters for us, so we were able to make sandwiches for the guys working in the woods. So nice, shout out to Hannaford's for that.
Great. We good? Right. Announcements. Board of Selectmen's office will be closed May 2nd, 2024 for training. Board of Selectmen will hold a public hearing May 14th, 2024 at 5 o'clock. To accept unanticipated fund from the Land and Community Heritage Investment Program, LCHIP. You know how much that is?
Yeah, that's 50. It's 53,360 and some change, if I'm correct.
So that's for the town hall project.
Correct.
The board, second one, Board of Selectmen will hold a public meeting Tuesday, May 14th at 5:05 to accept unanticipated funds from the state of New Hampshire's blockade grant.
That one was 16,700 and change.
Can I just-
That was like-
Yeah.
I forgot something.
I don't know if I will let you.
All right, that's fine.
The drones.
That's your prerogative.
Okay, Chris, go ahead.
When I was listing the name of people that worked on the brush cleanup, I inadvertently and very importantly forgot to mention Smith Family Tree Service for their service as well. I forgot to put their name on that list. Residents in town, and they did a phenomenal job too. And they are the ones that got Stillings Lane to Mr. Jones's thank yous and accolades for the job well done. That was Smith Family Tree Service. Thank you very much for the time, despite my sarcasm about it.
I love it. All right, we'll open up the public comment.
My husband wanted me to ask you. When is High Watch going to get asphalted, and is Winter Road gonna be included in that? Cause we have major, right down the dirt stuff on Winter Road with all 18 wheelers going through there all the time.
18 wheel.
They go up to
They
the
go
treatment center
food and
and we get 80% of the traffic.
You wanna? Take that, Chris? You wanna
Is the road man?
yeah, right at the intersection, there's a pretty big.
Yeah, but
and
he's
that
asking
cold
what-
patch won't stay in there because it's
Right.
single layer of asphalt, so that you need some little bit of depth so it can stay in there, so it just keeps getting.
You can see
right
the
back up.
dirt and
So are you asking to fix the hole, or are you asking to? pave
he's
the whole
wondering
road?
if it's gonna be included with High Watch when you do High Watch.
Pave the whole road.
The intersection, most likely it will be picked up, yes. Yes,
Okay, so the whole road will be done,
High Watch Road and Winter Road,
okay,
or
and what year are we looking at?
yes, that all depends on the voters, not to sound like a wise guy, but I have a road idea and a road plan. That's almost completed, that I would be sitting down with these gentlemen in the budget committee. To see if it's even something that anybody's willing to bring to the general public.
Okay, because Winter Road might be dirt by then.
We could grind it.
And then it would be done,
Yeah,
ground asphalt. And then spray you like that whole calcium chloride thing, don't you? Yeah. Yeah,
Dave,
Okay, you had to go to the selectmen approve the road plan.
Yeah.
they have it, has all the roads listed. And from the best of my recollection, it'd probably be 4 to 5 years before they get to that, for total paving.
Correct.
There are other roads on that, based on that UNH study. That's what that was originally done.
I think like the Drake and Jones are ahead.
Drake, Champion Hill, Jones Road, Pine
Pioneer
River.
River obviously is the next.
Yeah, part.
Well, people are gonna know that if you start copying things.
But that lists all the roads in the road plan.
And the capital improvement plan addressed that in 2019 too.
But as you just stated, it's falling apart. So if you add 4 or 5 more years onto that road,
You're not gonna have a road.
exactly. So we're always chasing our tail, so that's. Just in my opinion, solidifies my idea, but
Any other comments?
I just have a question. Where's all the where's all the stuff that they've been picking up? Where's that getting dumped? Guys?
Jordan.
it's getting dumped in Wilson's Brook on Townhouse Road, and the Beaver Deceiver is picking it up.
All the, everything.
I'm grateful of it tonight, I'm in town all week, so. It's
Yeah, try to be. How about an answer?
Jerry Argenti's garage,
Who's,
Jerry Argenti's garage,
okay,
Granite Road.
yeah, I know where his garage is. What, does it got an area there? And
behind his garage is an area.
okay. I just was curious.
Yeah, it's got a big area back there.
Okay, thank you.
And we thank him for that.
Giving
Yes, we do.
years,
Yeah.
future board.
I think it did.
You did.
Tyler?
Okay,
Mr. Chairman, if I may, brought to my attention from a few different roads of missing some speed limit signs, and I'm more or less starting to confirm it more and more. So if it's all right with you, if we could open that maybe up to the public, and if it's something that maybe we have overlooked, that, hey, there used to be a speed limit sign there and it's not anymore. Let me know, let you guys know, so we can start, putting that up. And
So you have a list already? So it's
I've got a couple in mind.
yeah, we talked about it, and I actually did scratch the surface of that at our last selectmen's meeting.
Okay, I was in
and-
Massachusetts,
yeah.
I believe.
And I made the comment that somebody replaced the stop sign, so thank you once again to whoever did that on the Hobbs Road, but I did put that out there, that the sign bandits continue, and they are missing, so.
If I can offer a. Yes, example is turning on to Green Mountain Road from Route 25, there's nothing going that way until you get past Ryfield Road.
And
That
now,
was missing again too.
now the racetrack.
Going west,
Yeah.
Green Mountain Road,
as you
Right.
turn on, yeah,
no.
25.
Leaving 25 on the green.
So
Mountain.
as soon, like, if you turn down here.
right, it's a Green Mountain Road or Rifle Road,
Green Mountain Road.
okay.
yeah, 25 out the Green Mountain.
Yes, so there's nothing until you get after Ryfield. And if it's okay with the board, the one that is east of Ryfield is starting to get a little obstructed by brush. We can clear that, I can clear it. Okay, good. Trying to make it more well posted.
So we need to put a sign up 35 up in that area. This side.
Headed west on this side of Green
Yeah,
Mountain.
a couple hundred
Yes,
feet
please.
from
If it's
25.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
So,
So I'm trying my best to compile a list. I got a list going in semi truck of the signage that's missing, that stop signs, that street names. The end of Townhouse Road at 153, the signpost is laying there on the ground. The sign is gone. Moody Road's sign post was thrown in the woods, the sign's gone. The end of School Street out here, the signage missing. I feel that the 35-mile-an-hour speed limit sign that's on that end of School Street as you're coming off of 153 should be replaced. It's the numbers and letters almost match the background of it. It's in such tough shape, it's so old, but and we have quite an inventory of signage. It's just getting them up, so. And I'll be on vacation for the next 2 weeks, so
enjoy.
in the morning, I'm going to be hunting, and the afternoons, I'm going to be doing tasks like that, so.
Let me know. I'll give you a hand.
Thank you.
Caitlin?
Just to add to your sign, I know it was mentioned at last meeting. Was, and Steve, I believe you had mentioned it, so if I get the location wrong, the sharp corner. I believe it was on
Yeah, I
Townhouse.
actually got that written
Okay.
down. And ideas, and I went through the signs to see if we have anything that says sharp curve ahead
Yeah.
or a chevron. We have chevrons are like these. Equal to minus whatever. And we do have some chevron signs.
That's called its own sign language.
It's an art.
TikTok video or whatever.
You don't put up BP sign.
Any additional comments? One question, rating on the third road, five roads, is that all done?
The worst roads are done.
Stevens Road looks great. That was done.
Your road's not done?
No.
Yeah, Libby, it's not done either.
Yes,
Nope,
No.
but then again, you live in.
but they had to be,
They
were trying to, yeah,
yeah.
so they were trying to,
Yes.
yeah.
He was grading on Effingham Road when I came tonight. You know, with Drake Road
Hawkins
first
Pond
onto
Road,
Jones.
yeah.
Oh, up to the pond.
Made me nervous there for a second, because everything was smells me, so.
Yeah, it's like-
Yeah, Hawkins Pond Road, yes, yeah,
Okay.
thank you, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
all right. No additional questions. We're gonna go into non-public.
Thank you all.
RSA 91. That 803, comma 2. All in favor?